So the United States may have gone to shit with the overturn of Roe v. Wade at the time of recording, and that I'm really disappointed with the Supreme Court. But I just watched the first season of Heartstopper, and everything was right with the world. That's all I can say. Like, everything was right with the world after I finished the 8 episodes in the first season of Heartstopper. Can that be my review? Because that's how awesome this was. But no, of course not. I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail. So Heartstopper is an adaptation of the graphic novel series by the same name by Alice Oseman. Now, I wish I could read those, but I can't because it hasn't been. It's not, the graphic novels haven't been, as far as I know, they have not been. Like, they don't have an audible or audiobook adaptation as far as I know, and I hate that that's the thing, because I want to read these, especially after watching this series. Like, after watching this series, I need to know, I need to get like an audio adaptation of the graphic novel itself, because it's amazing. I can't, that's all I can say. Like, I need for graphic audio or someone to do an adaptation of the of the graphic novel in audio. Not in it doesn't have to be I don't know how well the series adapts, so I can't say, but I need an actual dramatized adaptation of the original graphic novel. I think it's awesome if we get it. So Heartstopper basically follows Nick and Charlie, so Charlie has a crush on this guy, on Nick, and in order to kind of, I guess, spend more time with him, he joins the rugby team, and basically we see their love story develop, and it's so wholesome and beautiful that someone as cynical as me, who gets easily disappointed, had hope in everything after this series. So first of all, I think this story was really well written. It was really well done. It had a lot. These characters were amazing. I think there was like a lot of queer representation, which I think was really good. At least for me. Then again, I can't speak for everybody. It sounded good to me, and these characters were so lovable and so wholesome. I felt it just felt amazing. It's so hard to describe. These characters just felt amazing. I liked the dynamics between each character. One of my favorite parts that really touched me about this book a lot is the fact that Nick didn't know he started kind of liking Charlie, right? And but he was having a hard time kind of understanding, and it turns out he found out by the end that he's bi, right? But he didn't know that he thought he was straight the entire time. And I thought it was really interesting to see him discovering his sexuality and kind of finding out how he felt. Like, it was really interesting to see him discover his sexual orientation, and like have a really cute relationship with Charlie. I think it was wonderful, and I need more of this. I need more. I just need more. I require everything. And the other characters were also well written, as well. Like Tara seemingly, I'm hoping we get to hear more about her if we get like other seasons. I want to hear more about the other characters that are there, like Tao, Tara. I want to hear more about Elle, Darcy. I want to hear about all these characters. I want to know about all of them. I think it's really. I think I just want to hear all of them. It's just important to. It's important to me. I want to know about everything, because it's really interesting to see. To see these dynamics and these relationships. One of the things that was touched on, I was really interesting, is that this girl decided to come out on social media and basically just make Tara and Darcy decided to make their relationship official through social media, and Tara wasn't prepared for the effects of what the side effects that would bring. She wasn't prepared for how people would be seeing her on social media and be like in some of the comments, for example, were like, "Oh, you're too pretty to be lesbian," which the fuck is that? So it's a very interesting look at how people perceive things when they see them on social media, especially when you're just coming out. I think it was really interesting to see that come up in this book. I think that this book did a really good job. This season did a really good job portraying this. And I think it also did a really good job just portraying the different issues that people have. And one of the things that I also really like was the fact this one teacher, who was the one that realized that, Charlie was getting bullied after he came out as gay, and he was like the one teacher that genuinely cared, but also the one teacher that seemingly, believes in him. And I think it touched on the fact that there's something really special about teacher and student bonds, right? There's something really special about when a teacher really believes in you and takes the time to advise you, get to know you. There's something really special about that, and I think this show did a really good job on touching on that. It was written really well. One of the things I never discuss in my reviews is the visuals of the series that I watch, because not all the series I watch are audio described. But you know what? I'm gonna start doing that for series that are audio described, and this is audio described because it's a Netflix original. And the visuals were so cool. I found the visuals to be I found this audio description to be one of the best audio descriptions I've ever heard in a series. And one of my favorite things with some of the visuals was like, when it comes to the characters, like for example, like when Charlie is imagining, I think it's Charlie, when he's imagining asking Nick out, there are animated leaves that fall around him, and I love that so much. Another favorite is like some characters get specific animated things, like some people get like butterflies, hearts, and like sparks depending on the scene, and all this imagery was discussed so well. I feel like there was very little missing in the audio description, but then again, I can't see, but to me it gave me a great picture. So the audio description for Heartstopper, in English at least, I don't know if audio description is offered in other languages in that series. I literally have no clue. I cannot be sure. I did not check. But in English at least, the audio description, A+ Netflix, or actually Descriptive Video Works, I think is who did it. Descriptive Video Works tends to do really, really great audio description. So I am very rarely disappointed by descriptive video works, and I think this audio description was masterful and well done, and it gave me in the visuals. I loved the visuals presented in this series. I think they just it just made it so good. One of the things I loved about the series as well is that um, it did not count on like the it did not fall in the trap of the teen drama tropes, as I call them, and they usually involve drugs, sex, or alcohol. Like those things are not super present. I mean, it's TV 14, so uh, they could have actually done the drugs and the alcohol. Um, so they could have done it, and I'm so glad that they didn't fall into that, because this is wholesome and it should stay without that. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that. I'm also really happy that the characters were also not written like they would be in most teen dramas. A lot of the characters in teen dramas that I've seen, at least that I've been exposed to, are terrible. They're badly written. They are whiny children, both male and female. They're like whiny children, and they just are not compelling characters, and we're supposed to feel like something for them. And I just can't. I can't feel anything for characters who are like this. And I'm so glad that these were mostly very well written. And one of the characters that really gave me that like I'm glad that they were written well is Imogen. So Imogen in is someone who I'm glad was written the way that she was, and I want to know more about her, because she could have really been written to be a whiny person and just written to be completely bitchy and just basically be bitch, but she wasn't. Like in the beginning, she seems like someone who could have been. Um, oh, sorry, I just pre-ordered a book and Audible is just giving me a thing. Anyway, she could in the beginning. She like it sounded that way, that she could have been written as someone who could have been whiny and bitchy or whatever, but she wasn't. She was her her character was written well enough, like that it didn't her character didn't feel forced. Her character didn't feel her character was interesting, even if she had such little even if her main thing was to kind of ask Nick out, and and then eventually Nick explains like, no, I couldn't do it because of this and this, and I just kind of in the moment said yes because of this. But she was shown to be a true friend to Nick, and she ended up, you know, being seemingly, at least by the visuals, being very happy with his relationship. And she also tried to, you know, one of the things that came up is that she mentioned like, you know, I am not homophobic, I'm an ally. And I think it was Tara or Darcy that I think probably Tara that was like, thanks for your service or whatever. And it was like, yeah, she handled it the wrong way in a way, but she also wasn't someone who did it who was intentionally trying to be mean. She was someone who was seemingly trying to express her thoughts, and I think that was really good. I want to see more for Imogen, and I want to see more from every single character in these seasons, especially the side characters. Tao was one of my favorite characters. He's that ride or die friend who, even if you might like even if you disagree with him, he's there for you. Like, he is always there for you. He is just that one friend that's just like your ride or die best friend. And I love it. Tao is amazing. I love it. He was always there for friends, and I think his character development was wonderful. So those are my thoughts on the first season of Heartstopper. Again, everything felt great after watching this series, even though my disappointment that Supreme Court was a thing. After watching this series, and especially the ending was so cute. The ending was adorable. I love that they were yelling like, hey, I like when they were like at the end, they was just like, hey, a little bit of a spoiler, but but I don't think it's a complete spoiler. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm fangirling here. Where he's just like, where Charlie's like, because they, they were not official for most of the season. Like, they were dating, but they were just like, not like official dating. Like, because Nick wasn't out, because Nick didn't fully understand his sexual orientation. And I love that at the end, Charlie asks, is like, hey, is this official? Like, are we boyfriends now? And he's like, and Nick's like, yeah. And then he just starts yelling. I think he's at a beach. He's like, Charlie's my boyfriend. And I was just like, yes. Yes. Bring the cheesiness I love. I live for this cringy, romantic, hopeful stuff that I just enjoy. I live for it. Even if I know I have a hard time finding romance books and series to watch, but when I find a good one, I live for this. So yay, more Heartstopper. I actually, while I was reviewing this, I actually did check on Netflix. It is official. There will be a second season. I'm so happy. Netflix, get it done as quickly as you can. I want that season. I need more of this in my life. Let me know your thoughts on Heartstopper in the comments. Subscribe to my channel and my blog, which will be linked in the description along with playlists in my socials. And until my next video, consume stories. Bye, guys.